G'day champions. So I'm just in the process of modifying a gear case for my 9.8 horsepower. I'm getting a lot of comments from the guys who race powerboats over in Borneo to try what they do for their low water pickups, which I'm going to do. So as you can see, I'm just welding a larger skeg. It will have obviously a nose cone, but what they do is they actually block the exhaust coming out the propeller, and then they put some water pickups on the other side. They put some water pickups here, and they send the water up the exhaust tube and mesh it in to the water tube somewhere here. Doing that, you obviously need to get your exhaust out of the gear case at a different point. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut this plate here off and put an exhaust out here and probably just send it down that way. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking. Pretty excited. The exhaust normally goes down that tube and comes out here, out the exhaust. I'm planning on blocking that and using that tube now to feed the water pump and drilling some holes in the bottom of the gear case for low pickups. So what I'm planning on doing is welding that piece in there, and that will nicely grab the exhaust gases and push it out the back here, and put this second piece in like that. Weld all those pieces in, and then I'll do something pretty with the end of it, but the exhaust will come out the back of the gear case. So anyway, start welding these pieces in now. I've already welded this bottom piece in and just roughly sanded the welds. One of the reasons was so I could just fair in the inside, and now I'm going to weld this top section on, and then I can work out the little bit here. Okay, so that top section's all welded on now. You can see how much more nicely the extrusion aluminium welds than the cast aluminium. You sort of just get some really dirty stuff coming out. I did clean up the cast aluminium as much as I could, but anyway, that's the way it is. I'm very happy. The inside of the tube, I don't really have any burrs on the inside in between the joined pieces. I did turn the welder down for the seam welds. I was hoping not to burn through, and I'm going to leave that section of weld unsanded, just so I can leave a little bit of extra thickness on top. I think it'll look fine. It's out of the water anyway. Yeah, awesome. I still need to weld that and cut that off. It may be in the future I just cut this straight up, depending on how loud it is. There is plenty of space for the exhaust to escape out there. So that's where the exhaust will go now. The skeg, as you can see, there's a standard one. The skeg, I have welded a massive extension on front and back and below, and I will put a little trailing edge here, sharpen it, fair it, and paint everything. So next thing I've got to do is for this water pickup is I'm going to have my water pickups here and use the exhaust tube, the old exhaust tube, to feed this. So inside I'll be drilling some holes in here so that when the water comes in here, it can come up here. I will have to block the rear bearing carrier so that becomes a sealed little bay in there. So normal exhaust would come down here and out the exhaust. That's being blocked. Exhaust comes out here now, and this will be the water feed so that I can run really high for surface piercing props. So I will be welding these into the sides and fairing all that as well. So I've got the new water hole, drilled through the exhaust there, and coming into, the water tube. So I can weld up each side of that now. As you can see, the old exhaust used to run down here, and now it's blocked by this aluminium diverter, which sends the exhaust out the back. So the exhaust now is out there, and the water will come up here, obviously. And I will fill the old exhaust tube that's not used anymore under that curved exhaust piece and the new water pickup. I'll fill that all the way down to here. So there's no water in here. It'll just be solid filled with a compound, and water will find its way up there, no problems. So I've just run a few more beads of weld along the starboard side of the skeg here, so I can make myself a trim tab. Without that, because we're going to be surface piercing, without that, the gear case would run through the water sideways and we'd lose speed. So I'm just going to be able to shape that into a trim tab, and hoping to get the motor to run straight through the water. So you can see on the standard gear case how much this oil fill drain screw pokes out. I'm trying to get that a little bit more hydrodynamic. So what I'm going to do is, firstly, that's the standard drain screw, and I've found one off an older Tohatsu, which is a lot more streamlined. It's probably about 1.5 millimeters less protrusion, and also there's plenty of meat in here where this drain screw goes in. I've put a little lug in there. It's actually got a thread on it. So I'm going to machine the actual seal face into the gear case a little bit more too. Just sacrificed a socket, and I've machined some teeth on the end, and I'm just going to machine that in a little bit further. So that worked really well. It was very simple, and we're pretty much under the water line. So I'm happy with that. That is a drain screw with the gasket on. So I only really had to go in about 2 millimeters. On the inside, if I can focus in here, you can see that screw is poking out slightly on the inside, about 2 millimeters. So what I'm going to do is just, probably put a bit of a chamfer on the top of that screw, make it more of a dome top, and that will sort that out. But I'll make sure that that is not poking through. There's no gears or anything right there anyway, but I will make sure that that is not protruding into any area that's going to cause an issue. Now I'm just setting up to drill a few more water pickups right here. So I'm just sort of trying to figure out where I want to have those pickups. I've marked where the front seal is and where the rear bearing carrier sort of mounts to. So I've got this whole space here that I could put water pickups. I don't really want to come up any higher than this one. That's the factory one to keep the rear seal cool. So I think I will do something like this, and then sort of scallop in. Same sort of design as this, but mine will be round, and each one of these holes is a 5 millimeter hole, so it should be plenty of water. Even 3 I think is enough, but we'll see how we go. See what we end up with. I reckon 3 holes is enough for the pickup. So if it's not, I'll drill a few more later. But they are 5 millimeter holes, and obviously, angled on the inside, so that they let the water in easily, and the little scallop on the front is going to help the water stick and pull into the holes. So that'll be good. I think that'll work well. So my next step is to block the rear bearing carrier and put a nose cone on this and start fairing things, and I'm ready to give it a go. Pretty pumped. So that is the rear bearing carrier, which I want to seal up. I don't want the exhaust gases to come out here anymore. I have just put some sticky foam in there temporarily just to block that, and I'm going to pour epoxy and chop strand into the holes and seal that up. So that's the chop strand there. Lots of little pieces all cut up, very small. Yeah, so anyway, we'll get that in and we'll have a look at it once it's set. And that's the rear bearing carrier. So that is a epoxy and chopped strand mix. I haven't got it on any of the surfaces which need to slip into the lower unit. And that's what it looks like at the rear. So yeah, definitely the exhaust openings are blocked. So that's all we need. And that's not going to come out. Awesome. I'm happy with this gear case now. It's ready for reassembly, and then I can put the nose cone on and stuff. I have filled, I'll just turn this over. I've filled that exhaust tube with a flexible filler all the way up to where I've drilled the inlet into the water tube. And that filler runs up all the way to behind that aluminium diverter in the exhaust tube. So now, put my camera down the water tube. You can see the light coming in down the bottom there. That is those holes I've drilled there. Ready for reassembly, nose cone, and then a bit of fairing, painting, make it all pretty. And then we'll give it a go. I've just got a nose cone mold on there. I'm going to take these bolts out and it's a two-piece mold, so I'll just remove that now. So I'm going to test this motor in quite a shallow bucket. It's obviously going to, water pickups are probably about, an inch below halfway along that torpedo. So I'm going to let it suck the water out until quite low, and we'll just see how it picks up and pumps. Anyway, let's do it.